everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. We are going back to Pro Wrestling Noah for this one. We haven't done a Noah event in a while, if you don't count the All Together again. Yeah, I don't count that. That's a separate show.
I think we did one other one.
Yeah, but it's been a while since we've done a Noah review.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So we're back. We are reviewing. Some places call it Green Journey. Some places call it Great Journey. The website calls it Green Journey, right?
You know what? To be honest, we're still pretty fresh in the Noah experience. By the way, subscribe and like this video. Please. And leave a comment telling me how cute I am. So I'm still confused by this. They're not pay-per-views.
Kind of like the way NXT does their shows but they're not pay-per-views. Kind of like that.
But at the same time, they're also like the Road to events because they happen very often. Like there's a lot of Green Journeys already this year.
I think when there isn't a major pay-per-view, they throw one of these Green Journeys out there.
Okay, that kind of maybe is what it is because it's like there's been so many of them.
There's been 3 this year.
We picked this one pretty much based on the card.
Yeah, because the card looks pretty good.
That's why we chose to review this.
Yeah, because we're not going to review every Green Journey.
Yeah, but there's like one every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So we'll start off with the first match of the night. It was a pre-show match. It was Saito, Yoshioka, and Stallion Rogers going over Mohamed Yone, Alejandro, and Daishi Ozawa. Alejandro on the pre-show.
Yeah, it's I struggle to understand the logic of Noah pre-shows. Because they're usually pretty decent matches starring actually like big names,
as we'll get into another match on the card.
And I find it odd because it's like, why wouldn't they just be on the card? And nobody's there when this is the difference between any other company in all of wrestling. And I'm being so honest, even Impact, Noah's pre-shows, there is nobody there.
Yeah. There was, the arena.
It's like Wrestle Kingdom when they did the pre-show matches, that like tournament.
I mean, there was only like the total attendance was only 1,000 people at the show.
Yeah, it's not a big place though. It's like this is not a pay-per-view, right? This is like just an event.
Yeah, kind of like the way Impact does their like Under Siege was not a pay-per-view. It was just a named episode of the.
That's like and it's done in like the typical where we would expect the G1 to take place during the week.
You know, a random, Super Juniors match, night. So, but Stallion Rogers, I really enjoyed him. This is one of the first times I've seen Stallion Rogers. This dude is like, he's got some potential to him.
Yeah, you know what? Everyone in this match was pretty good.
Yeah. Yone's
Mohamed Yone is literally just their
Toriano.
Yeah, he's like a cross between Yano and Taguchi.
Yeah, he's there for comedic effect. Yeah. Can go if he has to, but.
Yeah, he's clearly like older, right?
Yeah.
That's why when they were teaming him with Super Crazy, I thought that was a good team because they're both like older guys.
Yeah.
And they're both like comedic at this point.
Yeah, but it was a good pre-show. Like I said, Saito goes over because I think the guys they're pushing here are Saito and Stallion Rogers. I think they're pushing Stallion Rogers for something bigger. I think maybe to the junior heavyweight division or something.
Oh, let's see what happens with that.
Yeah. Our next match is Hajime Ohara against Hayashi. Hayashi is recently booted out of Congo, or he left Congo.
Yeah.
And he says he's going to go through every member of Congo till he gets to the top, and he loses the first match.
Yeah, I do think there's an attempt at telling a story there.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind because right now, out of all the stuff happening in Noah, the Congo story is the most interesting one.
Yeah.
Because it's like LIJ.
It's involving LIJ.
It's so mirroring everything LIJ is doing. And that's fine because that's a pretty good storyline. But
yeah. And then there's the whole crossover with New Japan as well in Congo. So that's going on.
We'll see what we can get out of that. But yeah, this was a decent match.
Yeah. Is it going to be like, if he's going to go through every member, is it going to be like his record at the end depends on whether he challenges the leader or not?
I don't know.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, as good as the commentary team is and the presentation of the show is good, it was different. And it doesn't, it's not like someone like a Kevin Kelly or a Chris Charlton. They explain to you the story behind it. They just comment on the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they don't.
So I probably said this before, but Noah treats And it's funny because I keep saying it. The one guy with the high-pitched voice sounds like a guy right out of FIFA.
Yeah,
Oh, good ball up the midfield. Like, that's literally how he sounds.
even the ring announcer.
But they treat their wrestling way more like an actual sport.
Yeah, it's an actual sporting commentary. They don't.
Yeah, it feels like I'm watching a sport when I watch Noah, and it adds to it because everything in Noah is like whatever's you like about New Japan, and like mind you, New Japan is much more polished, but
Yeah,
whatever you like about New Japan, there's just this level of excitement that Noah has that they don't have, where everything feels so intense. And the announcing is good. I like it, but I agree with you.
I'm not saying it's wrong. Yeah,
they don't even attempt to like tell you anything.
You have to know going into it, basically. Yeah. But next we have, then this is where we were talking on the pre-show. You have Kaito Kiyomiya, Amaska, and Super Crazy against Iho del Dr. Wagner Jr., Ogawa, and Kai Fujimura.
Like, I struggle so much.
These are big names.
Yeah, I struggle a lot with Wagner because like he's simultaneously really good and also so boring.
Yeah,
like he'll do some crazy stuff and you're like, whoa, because he's big and he's a lot older.
Yeah,
but then it's like sometimes it's so boring and you're like, what the hell, didn't he just do like a triple backflip off the top of the ropes?
It's like, when he does it's when he does a crazy move, he has to go into a rest spot after, like a chin lock or something.
Yeah, so it's like a really awkward balance. He is good though.
Yeah,
and he has that new belt, the international or the red belt. I don't know what it's called.
I think that's the CMLL International. Is it CMLL?
No, it's they're the new belt for Noah. It's like the Noah International something. I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
It's a newer belt.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Kiyomiya is like
on a different level.
That's a special guy.
Yeah, and you would think with him, it's like you would think he'd be in a more of a higher position on the card because he's got this. He's in the G1. He's got this feud going on with Okada in New Japan, right? So it's like,
and this is something we've talked about, and I know New Japan does it as well, but I'm starting to realize things like the reason we keep seeing those group matches with LIJ is because Naito, you can see him walking before the shows. He's injured.
Yeah, he's not at 100%.
That's why they're like forcing them into these things. Like you see with a lot of wrestlers in New Japan, when they're injured or they're sore, they need a break. They put them in those card matches so that just to get people to come, right?
Yeah.
But in Noah, they have this weird thing where the main card will be all not popular wrestlers, and they'll put all the popular wrestlers in the pre-show.
Yeah.
And I find it odd.
Yeah, that is a bit strange because, like you said, you have one of your top stars in Kiyomiya there, and it's like he's on the pre-show.
Yeah, it's funny because he's still great.
Yes,
don't get me wrong. He has like a huge future. But he was just world champion, and since that loss of the belt, he's been pushed so far down the card. It doesn't make any sense.
Kind of like what they did with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
Drew McIntyre
was a pretty good example.
Yeah, because Drew McIntyre, when he was champ during like the pandemic and stuff like that, he was so high up the card, and now he's not. He doesn't even have a contract apparently.
No, he does. It ends in January.
Oh, okay.
But okay. So side note, just for anyone who's watching, and now we're talking about Drew McIntyre. He's apparently saying that no matter what they do for him, he's leaving WWE when the contract expires.
Okay.
Because they're trying to really push him to like get him to stay.
Right.
Because there's rumors he's going to win Money in the Bank.
Right.
But he's saying,
I would like to see him join like New Japan and join like, say, really solidify someone like TMDK. Can you imagine Drew and TMDK?
I would like to see him just go in and demolish everybody, win the championship.
Yeah.
And reign for a bit as like this unbeatable gaijin, and then just have their new guy come topple him over.
Yeah.
Or even in Noah, you could do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure Noah would be willing to throw whatever money they have right now at him because that's a big name.
Yeah. But he's a name that's being bandied about quite a bit, and a lot. Like even Impact has shown interest in him.
Impact will pay whatever. I know for a fact. He'll be willing because that will draw so much bigger.
And he already has a history with the company, so he's already been Impact champion. But side note, with that, we'll go into the main card proper. Our first match was like a pure like old school wrestling match between Suzuki and Taniguchi. And Suzuki is part of the faction Real, which also has Timothy Thatcher and and Huxley there. And they're trying to, I guess, more factions, just what you want.
Yeah, I think they're trying to build a faction legitimately out of wrestlers, like grappling technical wrestlers.
Because you could see it in Thatcher and Huxley. They're
Thatcher is 100. Thatcher is the closest comparison I have, and like I'm really sorry to Daniel Bryan, okay, but the closest comparison we have to Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah,
like the way that he wrestles, because there's Danielson has too much in sports entertainer in him still, like then more these guys are like straight up we're gonna be on the ground grappling, like
grappling, yeah. And that's what this match was. This was like very Greco-Roman style, very like I guess amateur style, like not
but
amateur,
no one
but
likes
Olympic
to do
style.
that. They like to throw in a MMA style match or like a wrestling style match and
a kickboxing match.
Yeah, and I'll take it. It changes up in the middle of the card. You just get this random match.
It gives us a random match. It changes us up. It gives us something different that we don't get bored with, or it's like, oh, here's just two random guys.
I'll be honest. We've watched quite a few shows at this point. I think I'm one more than you because I watched one of those other ones that we have to go back to.
I watched them both.
Okay. So I'm halfway through the second one. But it's one of the only companies so far where all of their events I have not got bored once watching.
Yeah. Like sometimes with some events I have to watch maybe a match that I'm not interested in. I'll watch it in 1.5 speed or whatever. This one I don't. I watch everything because I enjoy the commentary. Sorry to cut you off, but like I enjoy the commentary.
You're right. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and I enjoy the presentation of the show.
Yeah, it just feels different. And I don't know anyone there. So it's hard for me to see a match that's like, oh, I don't want to watch this match. And then any match that I think maybe I won't like, I end up liking when it's over.
Like this one, like the one we're just talking about. I didn't really have much of an interest in it, but then when I started watching the match, it really drew me in. Just the reversals, the way the ring awareness of the two wrestlers, the way they were able to reverse each other's moves, the way they were able to counter. You know what I mean? Like it was a very interesting match, and it kept me entertained. And like I always say in these interviews, that's the main thing. At the end of the day, as long as you entertain me, I am happy.
That's the most important thing about wrestling.
Yeah, is the entertainment. Like, you know how we going back to WWE, they like to talk about, we put the entertainment at World Wrestling Entertainment, but you don't have to be this show to entertain people. It just shows you can put on a good wrestling match and still be entertaining.
I'm here for the wrestling matches.
I don't care about I don't care about the storylines.
I've learned to accept storyline more into like making things mean something.
Yeah.
And I've learned to appreciate the segments of cutting a really good promo.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about in our recap of the month in our I forget what we call the state of wrestling. But like listening to CM Punk drives me absolutely insane. Like that to me,
he's lost a step.
It's
at this point, it feels like he's just a bitter old man complaining.
Yeah, and all he does, whenever he's being positive, it's just him bragging about himself. And people think, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I don't want to drag this on.
No worries.
I was talking about this to someone the other day. It's not a work or a shoot. That's him as a person. He genuinely thinks he's a god. Like he believes truly that he is the greatest thing to ever happen to wrestling. And there maybe in a really small vacuum of time, he was one of the best. But I think when you look back at his career and everything that's happened and the person that he is, there's no way you can put him in the top wrestlers of all time.
As much as I am a fan of his, I'm not going to deny it. I've been a fan of CM Punk, but he peaked between 2011 and 2013. And then at about, 2014, he just disappeared. Like he went into MMA, he decided to do the UFC, and he's been away from wrestling for almost 10 years. And wrestling has moved on since those 10 years. This is not the same.
That era of wrestling that he came from doesn't exist anymore because he was the Ring of Honor guy. And that wrestling of him, like I'm sure in WWE, I've never seen any of his WWE stuff. I'm sure it was good because that's where he got very popular. But he kicked aside I'll do anything to look good type of thing for this talky talk character.
Yeah.
And then like we've moved the wrestling that exists now outside of WWE is more like the original Ring of Honor style of wrestling now, and he
Yeah,
doesn't want to go back to that. He wants to be a WWE wrestler in a not WWE
WWE
world. You
World.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And it just the in Chicago, sure, it sounds great, but I promise you, when we go somewhere else, it's not going to sound like that.
I think he might, if he's on this card on Sunday, he might get booed.
I don't think he's on the card on Sunday, but he will be there at Collision on Saturday.
Okay, but we'll see.
Which, hey, there's a lot of tickets available if you want to go.
Saturday, no, I can't. Like the Saturday prior, like the night
The
before, I'm
Collision.
working.
Yeah. It's they're real in Air Canada Center for a 20,000 seat place. They've sold like 3,500 tickets.
Oh wow, that's pretty bad. But anyway, going back to our actual review.
Hey,
I digress. Suzuki takes over, goes over, and he hands Taniguchi the Real shirt, and he joins apparently Real.
but this is good.
Yeah, like I beat you, now you're part of our faction.
Noah is reconstructing itself to be more like New Japan without losing their flair that they have, their personal style.
And I noticed on this card, especially, Noah has nobody that's like that in between. Everybody's either 38 plus or they're under the age of 24. There's nobody.
Yeah. Well, because they either have the legends who want to sign in a place where they're guaranteed money, or they grew up here.
Yeah.
Or you have the new guys that soon will probably be poached by your WWEs and your AEWs and your New Japans.
Yeah.
Exactly. Unfortunately, except for maybe Kiyomiya. I'm pretty sure that guy's going to life it out in Noah.
Yeah, he's going to be, I guess he's going to be there for I'm sure he's to a long-term contract there. They'd be silly not to put him to a long-term, but he's going to be like a Keno. Keno's been there forever.
Yeah, he'll be like a Marufuji type.
Yeah. So we go into our next match. It's Inaba and Katoge against Marufuji and Eita. I like this match. Sorry?
Man, I listen, I know I just like anything Marufuji does.
Yeah, but I like the reluctant tag team. You know what I mean? Like, you're an idiot, let me take over kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? It's funny because we were talking about Daga the other day, and I thought we were talking about Eita. So if you go back and watch that review, anyone, you'll know what I meant. I meant Eita. His attitude is so shitty, but it comes off so funny.
Yeah, like, it works. It's smart comedy.
Yeah, and I love that they were like hitting each other, and then just to like be part of to still fight the other guys. They were like, "Get out of my way! I want to fight these other guys."
Like, he Marufuji tags him in with a chop.
Yeah, and at the beginning, he threw Marufuji into the corner and started the match.
Yeah, so it's like, you want to start? Fine. He throws him in the corner.
Yeah, but Eita even when we saw Eita, when Eita was teaming with what's his name? They're the freaking Mick Jagger of Pro Wrestling Noah. That was a fun tag team too, because they both didn't want to work together, and they were the champions. And I was like, what and I think
that's the type of story they're going to be telling here. You know, that you need to put something on Marufuji right now, and if Jake Lee's going to have
up and coming, so but I'm
so
pretty sure Eita works for Dragon Gate.
Yeah, but I like that dynamic. I like Wikipedia. If you go look at this match on Wikipedia, it's wrong. They tell on Wikipedia, it tells you that Inaba and Katoge won, but Eita won. Eita got the pin on this one.
Yeah. Okay. So this up to this point, what's the next match?
Zach Morris, Tatsuke, and Yohei against Sean Legacy, Christopher Joy, and Daga.
So not yet, but
okay. This was good. I keep calling him Zach Morris. It's Jack Morris.
Yeah, but I'll take Zach Morris any day. I know who you mean.
The good-looking guys.
The guy who I keep saying is Hugh Morris's son, even though he's not.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love GLG right now.
Yeah, they're a great faction. Yohei is always like fun to watch. Like, our boy wasn't on this show, Ninja Mac, but
that's true. But I'm so happy that Yohei is now part of something where he's gonna get more time.
Yes, more ring time for Yohei is always a good thing. We want more Yohei.
Yeah, this match was pretty entertaining.
I'm still waiting for the crossover between Yo and Yohei, and we get Yohei Yo.
Yohei Yo, we'll do it. How about Shohei Yohei Yo?
Shohei Yohei Yo.
I want that trios team.
But I
Oh my
digress.
gosh.
But yeah, GLG is such a great faction, and Jake Lee is their leader right now. Like ever since he came back in, was it December, right? Right before the Muda show, he made his return.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ever since then, he's been on a hot streak. The whole team has been on a hot streak. They're treating GLG kind of like just five guys.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. They're starting to like see what New Japan's doing, and they're trying to like do the same things.
But the thing is though, they're trying to do the same things, but also innovate as well. Try something different. You know what I mean? And it's refreshing to see like three competing, like, because if you can count All Japan in this after the show we just watched, but like the three competing companies in Japan working together. You know what I mean? Like it would be like having like Kiyomiya right now is going to be part of the G1 in August or July. It would be like bringing in someone like Adam Page to be part of the Royal Rumble and win it, kind of thing.
It's huge, because that to me says that as long as talks stay good, that you're probably going to see Kiyomiya from now on joining the G1 tournament. Like he's probably going to be a mainstay of the G1 tournament.
You know, maybe one year we get a Marufuji in the you know what I mean?
But that allows New Japan to use those people to get that fan base to come over without Noah being worried that you're going to steal my wrestler, because I'll let you use him, but he still belongs to us.
Yeah.
And that probably less a chance that they're going to try to buy him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, you know, they'll throw them a bone, and here, you know, you can use Okada for a couple matches or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it keeps rivalries fresh. It keeps like matches fresh, and you don't get the same matches all the time too.
Yeah, it's exciting to do cross promotion.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to the resolution of this Okada Kiyomiya feud.
Yeah, and it's gonna go hard.
Yeah, but GLG go over. I think Yohei got the pin on this one. But and I know you're normally not a fan of these multi-man tag matches, and
especially when it means nothing.
Yeah.
But this was good.
This was good. Next, we go into Shiozaki and Nakajima against Kongo of Keno and Soyabin there.
Man, go. That team, what's it called?
Yeah.
Rise?
No, that's Is that Axis? Yeah, Axis. AXIS, Axis. They went over. They go over in this match over Keno.
I absolutely love them.
Yeah. And like, they act like a proper tag team.
They're both so good, and they're so insanely stiff and physical in the matches. Like this match was long.
Yeah. It was a fairly long match. And they're not young guys either. They're a little older too. This match went like, it went like 13 minutes. Like it was not. Yeah. But and Nakajima, I think he's 35, and Shiozaki is 40 or 41 or something like that. So I think this is prepping them for a run against Real.
Nakajima is probably one of my favorite wrestlers right now.
Yeah,
like I love his I'm literally not scared of anybody attitude. Yeah.
I like the fact that too in this match, you know how Nakajima does his when the guy's in the corner and he leans on the rope, and they stopped him from doing that, so the crowd didn't get what they wanted. You know what I mean? And it made and I like that. Like you don't have to do your pose or your gimmick moves every match. You can change it up and the crowd would love it even more.
That's factual.
I thought this was a really good match. I think they're positioning them to go on a run with the belts.
I'll take it.
And then if they go on a run with the belts, have them go up against Eita and Marufuji and have a feud there, and I'll be a happy camper.
Yeah.
So, okay. So with that out of the way, Nakajima and Shiozaki go over, which is another surprising loss for Keno and Kongo. Kongo has been on a bit of a losing streak now.
They're setting up a story. Like it's the same thing that's happening with LIJ, like I said.
So they're setting up so we go into our first of three. I would call these three main event matches because they were for belts.
So at this point though, this is like as good as we're talking about the rest
Mhm.
of it, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it was like some 10 out of 10 tier thing. It was just an enjoyable
Show.
show so far. But at these 3 matches, like it turned around to be like, whoa, what the
Yeah.
fuck am I watching?
Yeah. In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way, not like in a bad way. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
No. But let's go into it. We have Hayata against Dante Leon. Dante Leon is challenging for the belt he technically never lost. So he vacated the belt when he got injured. And then since then we've had a few different champions, but Hayata right now is the current champion. And this was Dante Leon having, I guess, his rematch for it.
Yeah.
This was a fantastic junior heavyweight match, like one of the best I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, I didn't even know Dante Leon was that good. Like I've learned to like
Yeah.
really like him lately, but like he was like amazing in the. He did a spot with the chairs that I've never seen before, where he
Mm-hmm.
ran, jumped off the ring, and like stepped on him down into the chairs.
Yeah,
And I
almost
was like,
like
whoa,
Rollins' stomp kind of thing.
yeah, but like into the
Into
chairs,
the
which was
chairs,
like
yeah. He kind of, and his gimmick kind of looks like a little bit of Raven, a little bit of headbangers. Like he has that
a
like
little bit of
90s,
Spot the Dog.
yeah, that 90s grunge look to him. Like, you know what I mean? And but it works for him and it works for the gimmick. And
It's a purely this is not a gimmick that works anywhere except Japan. Like
yeah,
this is exactly what the Japanese fans would love is
yeah,
what he is.
what he is. Yeah, the face paint and all that. But this one went long. This was one of the longer matches on the card. This was almost 20 minutes.
Not bad at all.
No,
Watch this. I had this on the Samsung
the big screen.
tablet outside barbecuing.
Nice.
I loved it. I rewound a few parts because I
Yeah.
thought some of the spots were really inventive.
Yeah. Leon and Hayata, like Hayata didn't showcase. We saw a little bit of we can do it all together again, but he really showcased himself in this. Like their
I was
selling is
unaware that he
fantastic.
was at this level.
Yeah, and their selling is fantastic. The way they sold is
Their junior heavyweight division is really underrated.
yeah. And we get our spot where you think Dante Leon's gonna win when there's no ref, and then there's the invisible pin, I like to call it. And then the ref comes back, and then Hayata gets the win. Kind of like not a decisive win, but like a win. So I think there may be a rematch down the road or a three-way match.
It's probably at the next pay-per-view. There's probably going to be a rematch.
Yeah, this was I guess maybe this was more to test the waters, see how the crowd would.
I mean, the waters are tested.
Yeah, it's a nice day for a swim. Let's just put it that way.
It's a nice day for a white wedding.
Yeah, right. So Hayata goes over. He retains the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. Then we go from like this fantastic junior heavyweight match to this technical, hard-hitting tag match. It's Real, Timothy Thatcher, and Saxon Huxley against Kitamiya and Inamura. Like,
and prior to this, you kept talking about Saxon, and I kept saying F that guy.
Right.
But after this match, I don't know if I can say that anymore.
This was
a really good match.
He's to me a cross between Bruiser Brody and Sami Zayn.
He looks like Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, with a little bit of Brody Lee thrown in.
Yeah, this was a really good match. I thought they were gonna lose.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think they put it on S&M over there, Inamura, but it solidifies them because
they love him. Noah freaking loves that guy.
Yeah,
S&M King of Chicago. Abe Froman.
The Sausage King of Chicago. For people who don't get that reference, it's a Ferris Bueller. Go watch it. It looked like they were going to go over, but I think this was more to solidify them as legit champions, especially because this is an up and coming faction. They don't want to take the belts off them just yet. And
it's smart. Oops.
Yeah.
Knocked my headphone out.
That's okay. But yeah, it's a smart way for them to retain. NXT had something special in Thatcher and they let him go. Like, just like that. Like, can you imagine if this guy were still in NXT, Thatcher we'd have matches like the matches he could have against Waller, the matches he could have against Carmelo Hayes.
He doesn't have a kind of wrestling that's appreciated in the WWE universe.
That is a very
Like, not that we don't see it in Impact and in AEW and stuff like that, but it's a very Japanese favored type of wrestling where it's just straight up technical on the ground. It's British.
Yes.
It's very British.
Yeah.
Right. William Regal will talk about that kind of wrestling all the time.
That's the kind of wrestling. And the thing is, his William Regal's son, whatever, I forgot his name, but he's now in NXT, and we could have had some good matches between like Drew Gulak and him, and like could have been some good matches. But yeah, Timothy Thatcher, he's as this faction says, he's real and he can legit kick your ass, this guy.
Yeah, well, he legitimately could because he's an MMA fighter, and apparently he's like tough as nails. So
yeah, but they go over. I'm thinking maybe Real versus Axis for the next event.
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna not want to watch that.
Right. So, but I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I think Real went over. One of the best tag matches I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how, like, and I hate to say this because I love them so much, how stale FTR has gotten lately.
Hayabusa, baby.
How stale that FTR has gotten. Like, I mean, we'll talk about this more in state, but it's like they were like the pinnacle of tag team wrestling. And then at their height, at their peak, at the heat hot, they took them off.
Yeah. And that hurt them.
They don't even get cheered anymore.
Yeah.
They come out to nothing, to silence when they come out.
Yeah. It's kind of weird and awkward at the same time, but it's very, very true. Like at one time, when it all goes down, FDR will be one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
Of course, because they're probably gonna win the strong titles and add another star to their list.
Yes, but we'll see where they go. But up next, we have our main event. You were not too sold on this one when I mentioned it, because you're like, why are they having him against Segura against Jake Lee?
The Sugo man?
The Sugo man. The Sunday Sugo. But this was a really, really good match.
Yeah, and the story told was insane. So it starts out with like a little back and forth, and then Jake Lee being like, stupid old man, you thought you could wrestle against me. And then as the table slowly turn, you see him come out and be like, you're done, kid. And he gets his second win, and he absolutely demolishes Jake Lee.
Yeah.
And then Jake Lee pulls it out right at the end.
Yeah. But it was such good in-ring. Like, see, you don't really need a story. This told all the story you needed to hear in the ring.
But that's Japanese wrestling. And for me, that's how I see it. This is when you get everything is told to you through the matches. And it's well managed, right? And I like it. And this was a fantastic match. Yeah. Like, I was actually at one point convinced that they were going to let Sugi win.
Yeah. Absolutely. When he started making that comeback and he started just absolutely schooling Jake Lee, I thought, okay, this is Jake Lee going to take the loss. Segura's going to win and, like, maybe not have a long run with it. And Jake Lee is going to, the whole battle adversity thing. You know what I mean? Telling the Cody Rhodes story, but only better.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then when he pulled it out at the end, I was like, you know what? That's good, because
that's good. Yeah.
You were right, though. This was a match to make him look better.
Jake Lee,
let him be the veteran and
a legend, basically.
Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah.
But what does he do next? Does he fight like Kojima or something? Like,
it could be Kojima, could be maybe Kiyomiya gets another shot.
I think it's too quick to put him in with like a Marufuji or something, because you're gonna have expectations of that person probably winning.
Yeah.
So I think it's too soon for that. I think you got to let him plow through some like older legends.
Yeah.
But Jake Lee's really good.
Yeah. Maybe have him someone like I don't know, like Taniguchi or Suzuki, part of that Real faction, just to like solidify his reign as champion. Because he's beaten some pretty big names as champion right now. And Jake Lee is
3 defenses, right?
Yeah, 3 defenses, and all 3 have been really, really good. Like, for someone who just came back, I think from excursion or from injury or something, like less than 6 months ago, this is like huge.
Yeah, well, we, in our time of watching Noah, we already were enjoying what was happening. And then we got Go Shiozaki came back. We got Jake Lee came back, and we got Hayata came back. And now we're like seeing 3 other great wrestlers be part of what's happening. Even Dante Leon wasn't there for a large portion of
our time with it. Yeah.
So it's pretty, I'm enjoying what's happening.
Yeah. Those last so with that, we're gonna score this card for those last 3 matches jumped the score for me. So my original score up until those last 3 matches was a 7-1, 7-2. This jumped it up to a 7-6.
Okay, so I was hovering around like a 7-3 in the beginning, and I think if those matches went good, I'll go 7-6. I was gonna say 7-5, but why not? We'll just equal it. We're already so close to each other. There's no point in
our tastes are very, so for those who don't know, our tastes are very similar, and we like what we like, and we like this.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see there's certain events where we're way off, especially if we bring up the score sheet, which we'll do one day soon. But there's a few where we're pretty far off on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of them that I can come right off my mind was No Surrender. I scored it pretty high, and you gave it pretty low.
Yeah, there was a couple here and there where we didn't like it, but hey, when someone's nailing it, we get it.
We get it, and this was enjoyable. Like, it's not like, event of the year or anything like that, but it was enjoyable. It was a great way to watch a few wrestling matches, and if you can't watch the whole event, definitely go out of your way to watch at least the 3 championship matches.
Yeah, I think that's easily digestible, and it's completely worth watching.
Yeah. Absolutely. So with that out of the way, thanks again for joining us. Join us soon. We may have a few surprises for you later in the week or next week. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Turn that little bell ding-a-lingy on, so this way you know when we drop these surprise videos. Follow the Discord so you know when I drop these videos. With that out of the way, thanks again for joining us. Goodbye and good night.